Thumb, 1908, the billion-dollar ghost city. What happens when a dream is so big it collapses under its own weight? Ordos, a city meant to embody modernity and ambition, rose from the desert in 2008 as one of the most expensive urban projects in the world. Built with the hope of becoming a booming metropolis in Inner Mongolia, Ordos was designed to house millions of people, boasting grand avenues, opulent mansions, and towering skyscrapers. But there's one problem: no one ever moved in. From the outset, the vision for Ordos seemed unstoppable. It was more than just a city. It was a monument to China's explosive growth, a symbol of the country's rising global power. At its peak, the city was expected to be home to a thriving population, working in a modern, futuristic environment. But reality quickly became a stark contrast to this vision. Why did Ordos, which spent billions of dollars constructing high-end luxury homes and massive urban infrastructure, end up as a desolate ghost town? The answer lies in the heady mix of ambition, greed, and miscalculation. And as you'll discover, Ordos wasn't just another abandoned construction site. It's a testament to the dark side of unchecked urban development, a modern tragedy born from the same dreams that have shaped China's skyline today. The government poured an unimaginable amount of money into making Ordos a model city, and some of the finest architects and designers were recruited to build the city's grand infrastructure. But beneath the shiny exterior of luxury homes and high-end buildings, a simple question looms: who was this city built for, and why didn't anyone move in? The answer may surprise you, and it might make you question the true cost of such grandiose dreams. Was Ordos just a project too ahead of its time, or was it doomed from the start? Let's take a deeper dive into the vision behind Ordos and explore how it all went wrong. If you're intrigued by the rise and fall of Ordos, let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe this city had a chance of success, or was it always doomed? Don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying the mystery so far, and make sure you subscribe to stay updated as we dive deeper into the tragic story of this billion-dollar city. Now, let's move on to explore the history behind Ordos and how it became one of China's most ambitious yet failed urban projects. In the early 2000s, China was experiencing one of the fastest urban growth spurts in human history. Cities were sprouting up from the ground at a pace that defied the imagination, each one more ambitious than the last. Ordos, located in the heart of Inner Mongolia, was designed to be the crown jewel in this explosive growth, a city that would embody the country's meteoric rise and showcase its ability to create modern metropolises from scratch. But why did this ambitious urban experiment fail? The project began in earnest in 2004, when local officials, inspired by China's rapid industrialization and urbanization, decided to create a city unlike any other. The vision was grand, a sprawling urban center capable of housing over 1 million people. Ordos was planned to be a blend of Western luxury and Eastern tradition, with vast high-end residential districts, luxury shopping centers, and even parks. Its creators envisioned it as a futuristic metropolis, with all the amenities of a modern city, a destination for people from across the country and even the globe. The Chinese government threw billions of dollars into the project, determined to showcase their ability to construct cities from the ground up. They enlisted world-renowned architects and designers to bring their vision to life, and within just a few years, Ordos had developed vast neighborhoods, highways, shopping malls, and skyscrapers. It was a city of promise, full of potential, but despite the sheer scale of the project, something was missing residents. While the government's ambition was undeniable, the fundamental issue was that Ordos lacked an actual purpose for its citizens. Unlike other Chinese cities, where there was an established industry or economic base, Ordos was essentially built from the ground up without a clear understanding of what would draw people to the city. As a result, a ghostly silence started to settle in, and a city that was supposed to become a bustling hub for millions became eerily empty. Why did this happen? Was it a victim of overly ambitious planning, or was it something else? An illusion of prosperity built on shaky ground? As we explore Ordos further, we'll uncover how even the most well-funded urban dreams can falter when they fail to meet the needs of the people they're designed for. One of the most striking aspects of Ordos is its architecture: grand, empty, and ultimately futile. The city's streets are lined with opulent mansions and towering high-rises, built to create a sense of luxury and modernity. But despite the architectural marvels, there is a chilling emptiness that fills the city. Streets that should have been teeming with life are silent, and the high-end homes meant for families stand vacant, their doors unopened, windows dark. The mansions of Ordos are perhaps the most telling symbol of the city's failure. These homes, built in a range of architectural styles from modernist to classical, from European villas to sleek, futuristic designs, were intended to house the wealthy and the middle class. These extravagant buildings were meant to attract affluent residents, but in the end, they became a symbol of excess without purpose. What went wrong? The answer lies in a combination of overzealous planning, lack of economic foundation, and the disconnect between the city's construction and the real needs of its future inhabitants. The city's builders poured vast amounts of money into creating architectural beauty, but the city was built without considering the most crucial factor: people. The mansions, many of which are still standing empty today, tell the story of a place where luxury was created without any understanding of what would make it a thriving community. Some of these homes, meant for the upper class, were even too large for families to afford or maintain. Others, meant for middle-income workers, sat unused due to a lack of local jobs or industry. The result was a city of ghostly streets, where the beauty of the design couldn't mask the failure of its execution. It's easy to get lost in the grandeur of Ordos architecture, but behind every grand structure is the sobering reality that it was built for no one. The empty mansions are a silent testament to the city's failure, and a reminder of how high hopes can lead to a towering emptiness when the needs of the people are forgotten in the pursuit of grandeur. The dream of Ordos came crashing down just as quickly as it was built. Despite billions of dollars invested in its construction, the city was doomed to fail when the global financial crisis of 2008 hit. Ordos, like many other Chinese urban projects, was part of a larger real estate boom that was fueled by a rapid economic expansion. But the world's economy was about to take a sharp turn, and Ordos was caught in the crossfire. As the financial crisis spread, the real estate market in China, particularly in cities like Ordos, began to show signs of stress. The demand for new homes and luxury apartments plummeted, and the speculative bubble that had been inflating for years finally burst. What had been a booming construction site turned into an empty, unprofitable ghost town. The luxurious homes built to house millions of residents now stood vacant, and developers were left with projects that could not be completed or sold. The city's collapse wasn't just due to the global economic downturn. It also stemmed from the over-reliance on real estate as the sole economic driver. Ordos, which had been promoted as a model city for the future, lacked a solid foundation in terms of industry, employment opportunities, or a diversified economy. Without these elements, the city's luxury homes became nothing more than empty shells. The government had poured money into Ordos, believing that the city's grand architecture and infrastructure would be enough to attract people. But the underlying problem was that the city was simply too expensive to maintain and lacked the economic vitality to support its population. The crisis exposed the fragility of Ordos' foundation, and the city became a stark reminder of the dangers of overambitious urban planning. Without regard for the economic realities on the ground, Ordos' rapid decline highlights the broader risks of urban development projects that prioritize luxury over sustainability. The city's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of building without a clear understanding of the needs of the people who are meant to inhabit the spaces, and the catastrophic consequences that can follow when economic realities fail to meet grand aspirations. Ordos is not just a failed city. It has become a symbol, a powerful cautionary tale for future urban planning projects around the world. The city was once hailed as a beacon of China's rapid urbanization and development, a futuristic marvel that would rise from the desert to become a bustling metropolis. But instead, it now stands as an empty, haunting monument to the dangers of overambition. City building without considering the human element in the world of urban development. Ordos is often cited as the ultimate example of what can go wrong when grand visions are pursued without a deep understanding of what makes a city thrive. Its empty streets and vacant mansions reflect the shortcomings of building a city with no clear economic or social foundation. It serves as a stark reminder that cities are not just about structures, roads, and buildings. They are about people, communities, and the ecosystems that support them. As the world continues to face rapid urbanization, with millions of people moving to cities every year, the lessons from Ordos are more important than ever. The idea of building massive, empty cities with no clear purpose is not just financially irresponsible. It's morally irresponsible. Ordos proves that cities cannot be built in isolation from the needs of the people who are supposed to live in them. It highlights the importance of sustainability, long-term planning, and most importantly, understanding the social, cultural, and economic needs of residents before building a city. The city of Ordos was meant to be a showcase of modernity, a symbol of China's global power, but instead, it became a symbol of failure. It shows the world the dangers of chasing urban fantasies without grounding them in the real, everyday needs of human life. And while Ordos may have been a grand dream, it is now a permanent reminder that the most impressive cities are those that are built to last, not just in architecture, but in the lives they are designed to sustain. Ordos wasn't just a city built on ambition, it was a city built on a real estate bubble that never materialized. While the government and developers pushed forward with the construction of grand, empty homes, the city lacked the economic foundation necessary to attract the very people it was designed for. So why did no one move in? The answer lies in the speculative nature of the real estate market that Ordos was part of. During China's urban expansion in the 2000s, there was a massive push to build new cities, with many hoping to capitalize on rising demand. However, Ordos was different. Instead of being built with the intention of serving a specific purpose or attracting a specific industry, Ordos was constructed as a luxury development, largely aimed at the upper class. It was a showcase of wealth and power, but that power was built on unstable foundations. China's economy was booming at the time, but the country was still transitioning from an industrial economy to a consumer-driven one. Ordos planners, in their eagerness to create a city of luxury and excess, didn't account for the fact that such lavish homes would require a large, stable middle class to support them. The lack of a viable job market or industrial base left Ordos unable to support the high-end real estate that had been constructed. The city's developers had failed to consider the economic needs of the residents. While beautiful homes and grand buildings were built, they didn't take into account what would attract people to actually live in the city. There were no factories, no businesses, no industries. Ordos didn't have the necessary infrastructure or economic opportunities to sustain its population. In the end, the vast majority of the city's luxury homes sat empty, with no one able or willing to afford them. This massive real estate crisis in Ordos is a stark example of what happens when cities are built with little regard for their long-term viability. It underscores the importance of not just building beautiful spaces, but creating sustainable economies, job opportunities, and communities that people actually want to be a part of. The story of Ordos would not be complete without examining the role of the Chinese government in its rise and fall. The government, eager to showcase its rapid urbanization and economic prowess, played a pivotal role in the creation of this ill-fated city. However, despite its promises and ambitions, the government failed to deliver on key aspects that were essential for the success of Ordos in the early 2000s. China's leadership was eager to demonstrate its power through massive infrastructural projects. Ordos, a city planned to be a symbol of modernity, was positioned as one of the flagship urbanization efforts. Government officials promoted the project with grand speeches, highlighting Ordos as the future of urban living, a city of tomorrow that would lead the country's economic transformation. They envisioned a bustling metropolis where industry and residential living coexisted, attracting millions of people. But behind the government's bold promises lay a lack of clear planning and foresight. Ordos was designed with the belief that its luxury homes, massive and sprawling urban landscape would attract people simply because they were new and modern. Government poured billions into the project, but it overlooked the fundamental issue. Creating a city for people requires more than just building infrastructure. It requires building a sustainable economy with opportunities for residents to live, work, and thrive. The government's failure to consider the economic realities, the lack of industry, jobs, and affordable living spaces for the working class led to the city's downfall. The officials who oversaw the development of Ordos failed to address these critical gaps in the planning process. They relied too heavily on the belief that the city's opulence and modern design would automatically draw in residents, but without a strong, sustainable economy to support them, the city was bound to fail. In many ways, Ordos serves as a reflection of the government's broader approach to urban development, a focus on speed and scale, often at the expense of careful, thoughtful planning. The government's ambition to create something grand and monumental blinded them to the human element that is crucial to the success of any urban project. Ordos stands as a reminder of the importance of balancing ambition with practical, long-term planning. Today, Ordos stands as a chilling reminder of what happens when grand dreams are not grounded in reality. The city, once envisioned as a thriving hub, now sits mostly abandoned, its streets eerily silent. The vast mansions, luxury homes, and grand infrastructure remain, but they are emptying. Urban landscape that never lived up to its promise. Despite the vast investments made in building Ordos, the city never reached its intended population. What was supposed to be a bustling metropolis is now little more than a ghost town. Its wide boulevards, designed to accommodate a thriving community, stand devoid of life. The high-end shopping malls, built to cater to the affluent, sit empty, their glass windows reflecting nothing but the quiet of the empty streets. The mansions meant to house wealthy residents are now nothing more than hollow shells of ambition. But while Ordos remains largely abandoned, its legacy is far from forgotten. The city serves as a cautionary tale for urban planners around the world. A stark warning about the dangers of overambitious development without a solid foundation. It also reflects the broader issues of China's rapid urbanization, the struggle to balance growth with sustainable living conditions, and the challenges of building cities that people will actually want to call home. Despite its failure, Ordos still draws visitors, many of whom are curious about the ghost town that once promised so much. Tourists walk the empty streets, marveling at the scale and grandeur of a city that never came to life. But even as visitors are fascinated by the scale of the empty buildings, there's a palpable sense of loss. The potential that Ordos once had, the dreams of creating a modern urban center in the heart of China, now seems like an unfulfilled promise. Ordos remains a powerful symbol of the risks of unchecked ambition in urban planning. Its legacy is one of wasted resources, misplaced hopes, and a haunting reminder of the importance of building cities that serve people, not just the ambition of those who create them. The story of Ordos is not just one of empty streets and abandoned buildings. It is also a story of human dreams that were never realized. Behind the construction of this massive city were countless people who believed in its vision, from the architects and designers to the workers who built its infrastructure. But in the end, those dreams were crushed by the reality of economic failure and a lack of meaningful purpose for the city's creation. For the workers, Ordos represented hope for stable jobs and a better life. They believed in the city's promise and its potential for growth, but as the buildings rose and the city's grand infrastructure took shape, the reality set in. Ordos was a city that lacked any true foundation for long-term success. Without jobs, without industry, without a viable economy to support its population, the city was destined to fail. Some of the original builders, who had worked tirelessly to create Ordos, found themselves unemployed as the city's promise faded. The buildings they had constructed, the streets they had paved, now stood as a testament to their labor, but with no one there to occupy them. The workers who had poured their sweat into creating something grand were left with nothing, their dreams of a better life unfulfilled, just as the city's residents never materialized. The story of Ordos is also one of personal loss. For the people who had invested their hopes in this new city, people who believed that it would change their lives, the collapse of the project was devastating. Real estate investors lost millions. Families who had hoped to build a future in Ordos were left with nothing. The empty homes that had been built with such care and attention now stood as stark reminders of the broken promises that had driven the city's creation. Ordos was supposed to be a place of opportunity, of prosperity. But for the people who believed in it, it became a symbol of lost dreams and abandoned hopes. The city's failure was not just an economic one. It was deeply personal for the many who had hoped that Ordos would be their new home, their new beginning. Instead, it became a tragic reminder of what happens when ambition is not grounded in reality. As we reflect on the rise and fall of Ordos, one lingering question remains. Can this billion-dollar city, a modern ghost town, ever be revived, or is it doomed to remain a monument to ambition gone wrong? Despite the city's tragic past, there are still those who believe that Ordos could have a future, that it could be repurposed or reinvented to serve a new purpose. Reviving Ordos would require a complete shift in approach. The first step would be creating a solid economic foundation for the city, something it lacked from the very beginning. This means introducing industries, businesses, and job opportunities that would attract people to live and work in the city. It would also require attracting residents by providing affordable housing, not just luxury mansions meant for the wealthy elite. Without a sustainable economy, Ordos will remain nothing more than a set of empty buildings and streets. Another challenge for Ordos is its location. Situated in the desert of Inner Mongolia, it is geographically isolated with limited access to major transport hubs. For any revival to succeed, Ordos would need significant infrastructure improvements, including better connections to neighboring cities, transportation routes, and services. Without addressing these issues, the city will remain impractical for everyday life. However, despite these significant obstacles, there have been attempts to breathe new life into Ordos. Over the years, the Chinese government has continued to push for development in the city, trying to shift its focus from being an empty luxury hub to a more balanced, functional city. Yet, progress has been slow, and many of the grand ideas that were once associated with Ordos have been scaled back. The question remains, is it too late for Ordos? Can it be repurposed into something meaningful, or will it forever serve as a cautionary tale of failed urban planning? Perhaps, in a few decades, the city will stand as a testament to the dangers of overbuilding without considering the true needs of the people it was meant to serve. Or maybe, through innovation and resilience, Ordos will find a way to rise from the ashes and redefine itself for a new generation. Only time will tell if Ordos is doomed to be an empty relic, or if it will one day rise again. If you've made it this far, thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey through the rise and fall of Ordos. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit the like button to show your support. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Ordos? Do you believe it can be revived, or is it beyond saving? Leave a comment below with your opinion or your own theories about the future of this ghost town. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring the bell so you never miss an update on more intriguing stories like this. And if you're ready for another deep dive into a city's rise and fall, check out the next video on your screen right now. You won't want to miss it.